So, how to 2x your salary as a marketer using AI. Let's take a look at the agenda. So, the first thing we're going to discuss is the end of marketing and whether AI is actually going to bring all of this to a halt and you're wasting your time. Then, we're going to talk about whether or not you should be looking for a pay rise or a new job. And, guys, it's up to you, but you need to understand the benefits and the risks of both. Then we've got the key AI skills. This is what's going to unlock higher salary, higher commissions, higher project values for you. And then finally, we've got your pay rise plan. So this is a super actionable process that if you commit to, you will definitely get a pay rise in the next 90 days. So the end of marketing, let's get started. AI is changing everything. The world has woken up to everything AI has to offer. Everyone from taxi drivers to some of the world's largest companies are finding ways to reduce cost and boost performance. And guys, it's no surprise that marketing is at the forefront of this because marketing is always sort of judged on its return on investment. So like any way that you can keep the outputs the same and reduce the inputs, you're definitely going to take that. And often with good AI systems as well, you can actually increase the outputs as well. So it's no surprise that we're at the forefront of this. And it's not just me saying this, right? Goldman Sachs predicted that up to 300 million jobs will be lost or displaced by AI in the next 10 years. And let's just click through to this article here. You can see it's on Forbes. And I'm not going to spend too long on it here, but you know, you've got the World Economic Forum backing this up. These are like really, really seriously good. These are really, really serious guys, okay? And here you can see the real earnings of men without high school degrees now 15% lower than they were in 1980. So what we're seeing is AI pinching lots and lots of industries and making things much tougher. Now let's head back across to this PowerPoint here. So marketing is particularly vulnerable as an industry. Microsoft researchers have predicted that 6 out of the top 40 most vulnerable to AI jobs are marketing related. And guys, I promise this is the last time I'm going to click a link and go outside of the presentation. But let's just take a look at this list here. So as you can see, what have we got? The top 40 most affected occupations by generative AI. And as you can see, as I'm going through this, we've got telemarketers there, proofreaders, copy marketers, technical writers, I mean, that's marketing adjacent. Editors, again, marketing adjacent. Advertising sales agents, data scientists, again, there's plenty of marketers that fall into that category. So tons on that list are marketing roles, right? And I would go as far as saying that if you scaled that out to the top 100 most vulnerable jobs to AI, marketing would probably comprise the top 20%. So you need to be aware of these things because you need to be aware of these things because they directly correlate with your value in the job market. And if we're going to be increasing your salary, then you need to understand what you're up against and how you can combat it. And guys, I hate to break it to you, creatives are at risk too. So a lot of those jobs that we just looked at are more data processing or copy based jobs, right? So it's obvious how AI can interact with them. But look, with GPT-1's graphic generation model or our AI Reels editing agents, they're redefining what's possible. And it's only a matter of time before all of that goes mainstream. So, you know, just because you do a creative role like graphic design or video editing, you might think, hey, I'm probably safe. The answer is you're not, because the way that AI is growing, the way it's changing, the way that people are learning to use it is constantly evolving, and it's only a matter of time before all of these things are possible. So basically, I'm saying nobody's safe, or am I? Because basically you have an opportunity. I'm not saying that you should find a new career, because there's actually a huge upside for marketers that are willing to learn to use AI, because all of these companies are going to need someone to build these systems for them, to implement them, people with real marketing understanding and knowledge. And if you can position yourself correctly, then all of those opportunities are available to you. So pay rise or something new. Let's switch off of the AI topic a second and let's just talk basic career sense. You've got 3 options as a marketer to increasing your salary. And the first option is getting a pay rise from your current job. The second is finding a new job. And the third is going freelance or starting an agency. So a pay rise, and if you want to stay in your current role, the best way to increase your salary is to assume so much responsibility that your boss is embarrassed not paying you more. Because the more that your boss or your manager relies on you, the more they're going to do to make sure that you don't leave. So if you go to them asking for a pay rise, they're going to say yes, all right? But it all comes back to how much responsibility do you take and how much value do you produce. Next up, we've got a new job, and obviously a fresh start offers new opportunities. And by shopping around for the best employer, you can drastically increase your salary. Now, guys, it's no secret. Businesses that make more money pay better wages in an attempt to attract better staff. So, for example, if you're working for an AI SaaS company, chances are they're going to be pretty flush because investment is flowing into that sector and they're going to offer good salaries. Whereas if you're working for a newspaper where every year revenues are declining, chances are your salary is going to be pinched and it's going to be much, much tighter for you. So just by switching sector, or just by working with a company that's even just doing a little bit better, you can drastically increase your salary. But you just need to be aware that this process can take a little bit of time. And on top of that, there's no guarantee that you're going to like where you end up. Sometimes it's better the devil you know. And let's take a look now at our third option, which is freelance or agency. Because guys, you don't have to be monogamous in the marketing world. You can also sell your services to multiple businesses as a freelancer or agency owner. So as a freelancer, you're selling your time, but as an agency owner, you're selling other people's time. And we'll talk a little bit about the various benefits and drawbacks of that very shortly. So how do you decide what's best for you? Well, a pay rise is quick and easy, but limited in growth, right? So a pay rise, everything's comfortable, nothing changes, and you're going to get more money. So it's good, but you're not exactly going to double your salary with that. Next up, new jobs. They're exciting and can offer great pay increases, but they can take a little bit of time to land because the application process is long and there are lots of competition for jobs. So don't expect to be making double your salary in a week, but you certainly could be in 90 days. And finally, freelancing or running an agency offers the highest potential return, but honestly, it demands a lot of work and it's something that you really need to be prepared for. There's tons of great marketers I know that have started agencies and just realized, wow, this is not for me because of all of the other things that go into it. And honestly, I understand that. I started my agency at 23, had some quite decent success, but it took a lot out of me. I really feel like it aged me. So would I do it again? 50-50, I'm not sure. So next up, the key AI skills, because the key to unlocking any of those avenues, I believe, lies in AI, and I'm going to tell you why. Now, I truly believe that the most valuable marketing skill of the 21st century is being able to increase your leverage, output, and impact using AI. And honestly, it's a skill that every business in the world could benefit from. Now, look, businesses are in the business of generating profit, and that comes in two ways, either increasing the amount of revenue that comes in the front door or decreasing the costs that go out the back door. And with AI skills, you can do both. So what is there not to love? But I break down AI skills into three core areas. And the first one is actually pretty boring. It's process mapping. And that's the action of breaking down and clearly communicating how marketing work is done. So for example, let's say writing a social post. You might start with the topic or the idea. Then you might write the caption. Then you might design the creative, and finally you might schedule it. By understanding what happens at each of those stages, even on a more micro level than that, so for example, writing the captions, maybe use a specific copywriting framework, then you are in a prime position to create either a hybrid workflow or an automated workflow that can complete that work for you more efficiently and sometimes to a higher quality. And if you don't know what a hybrid workflow is or an automated workflow is, I'm going to tell you very shortly because those are the next two sections. So a hybrid system is a manual process that combines manual action with AI tools to produce marketing outcomes. So very, very simply, let's say that you get asked for a graphic, you head across to ChatGPT, you put the request into ChatGPT and it produces a graphic and you take it back to someone. There, I consider that a hybrid. That is what I consider a hybrid process because you're manually inputting data into a tool and you're manually serving the results. It's not happening automatically, but there is something happening on the back end, which is ChatGPT generating the graphics. So it's hybrid. And just understanding how to build these hybrid systems by looking at a process map is extremely valuable for a business and extremely valuable for you too if you want to save time and improve your outputs. But there is a third level, and it does require more expertise, and that is agents and AI workflows. Now, these are autonomous AI systems that complete tasks and activities on their own without your involvement, and they offer the highest form of leverage. So a little bit of a word salad perhaps there, but let me explain. We can build systems that use AI agents that have specific goals, like writing our social calendar, for example. Now, if we program them in a certain way by giving them all of the data they need and prompting them correctly, they can do that autonomously. So I could set up an agent, for example, and every week it could give me a full posting plan and I don't have to do anything at all. Or using the graphic example, instead of us being the one that ferries the information back and forth between ChatGPT and the requester, we could create a Telegram bot that does that automatically. So the person requests their graphic, it goes to a Telegram bot, that formats it, sends it to ChatGPT, ChatGPT produces the graphic, fires it back to Telegram, and then Telegram gives it to the requester, all without us touching it. Those are the most valuable systems in the AI marketing world, but they take a while to build up to. And the reason that I've layered everything like this is because this is the exact process you should go through when you're creating AI automations. First, can you map the process that you normally follow? Secondly, can you substitute parts of that process with an AI tool, and what are the outputs like? And thirdly, once you've satisfied those first two criteria, then you can move on to turning it into an AI or an agent-based workflow. And if you can master these skills, honestly guys, the world's your oyster. It's going to be crazy. Okay guys, so let's get practical. By now you should have an understanding of what's happening in the job market and why you need to differentiate yourself. You should also have a basic understanding of whether or not you're looking for a pay increase, whether you're looking for a new job, or whether you want to become a freelancer or an agency owner. And you should also understand that AI is a vehicle that can take you there, but you need to establish some core skills first. So now let's talk about how in the next 90 days you can increase your earnings. Firstly, you need to learn AI skills, because by learning AI skills, you instantly increase your value. And the quickest way to become a great AI marketer is joining a community with a structured curriculum. And the reason I say this to you guys is because that's exactly what I did, and that's how I learned to begin with. And then once I knew enough, then I was ready to go out into the world on my own. So I'm not advising anything that I haven't done myself, but that's the first step. You need to start developing these skills, because once you have them in the bank, that's when your value goes up, and that's also when your leverage goes up, because you can produce more in less time and you can produce a better standard of work. Next up, you need to accumulate responsibility like a Hoover, hoovering up responsibility wherever you find it. You need to prove your worth by building these AI systems out for the business or the businesses that you work for. And then you can create case studies that prove your value. So you don't just want to go to your boss and say, hey, I'll do this for you. You want to actually go ahead, do it, use AI to do it, because that's going to be the highest leverage way that you don't have to work more hours. Then once you've done it, you need to turn it into a case study that you can take back to them, because then we're creating a really rational case for why you deserve more money. And that also works for new jobs as well. If you can create case studies of ways that you've provided value to previous employers or previous clients, then that is going to be huge, okay? And that's going to give you some real leverage on the negotiating table or when you're being interviewed. And of course, the same thing applies for freelancers and agencies too. You know that you need case studies that prove you can do what you say you do. Then we've got make, ask. And guys, if you're not assertive, this is the toughest one, but you have to do it. Finally, you need to start asking the question. If you're shooting for a pay rise, speak to your boss. A new job, make applications, and if you're going freelance, speak to potential clients. So you should have learned a base of AI skills. You should have then made that practically applicable by setting up systems and building case studies. And now you're finally ready to make that all important ask. And honestly, guys, if you can just commit to this for 90 days, if you make it your only focus, I guarantee that you'll increase your salary in whatever format that comes. But you need to follow this process first. So in summary, marketing is changing fast and many jobs will disappear. You can build AI skills to unlock higher pay or better roles and protect yourself from what's coming over the next 5 to 6 years. And you know that you can take action now by adding more value and just asking for what you want. So that brings us to the end of this video. Thank you for sticking with me, guys. Look, if all of this sounds like exactly what you need to check out the link in the description, because in there's going to be a video that outlines exactly how I can help you implement all of this so we can get your salary up and improve the quality of your life. So check that out. Thanks, and see you in the next one.